Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to Deathmatch Russell Podcast. Let's get it on! Come into the ring, step into the fire, see what you want, baby. If your heart has desire, get out, get knocked down, get out, get knocked down, get up, get knocked down, down, down. Deathmatch Russell Podcast, 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 Deathmatch Russell Podcast.
And good evening, everyone. You're listening to another episode of the Deathmatch Russell Podcast with my guest at this time, the one and only Jake Painter. How are you, man?
What's going on, Russ? How we doing, man?
I'm doing pretty good. I just actually got off a virtual meet and greet with Chris Hero, the one and only.
All right, there you go.
Like he was just
he used to travel with Mustafa Ali, somebody that has trained me up a little bit, and then also Jason Hades up in the Chicagoland area. They used to travel a lot together, so I've heard many stories about Chris Hero. Chris
Hero wrestled so many times on the East Coast for like Jersey All Pro Wrestling, which was a popular federation. Ring of Honor, of course, the CZW era, back in the day. But
IWA Mid-South was a place that I heard a lot about him from.
Yeah, and he was actually just mentioning a match. I actually brought up the name to him, Ricky Shane Page, and he wrestled.
What a name!
And he wrestled him back in the day when Ricky had the mask gimmick.
Oh yeah.
So that to hear other stories as well, but his career really is something else to hear.
Of course, yeah. He's not even done yet. The best is probably still yet to come with that guy sometimes. You never know.
Yes. Yeah. Because I was mentioning names that he knows that he's catching his eye on. I was like, I asked Ricky Shane Page, Tony Deppen, Lee Mayanari, those are three top indie guys that are pretty
up and coming guys. Yep. That are, some of the best that aren't signed yet. So I know he does, like I said, I know he does, I don't know if he's still doing stuff with NXT, but I know when he was there, he was a big help for them. So I'm sure he was right into the deep end when it came to talent and recruiting.
Yeah, but now he's also doing his podcast, which is really awesome. He's keeping up with that, which is good, and I'm going to be following that and trying to get him on again. It would be nice to pull him on to a podcast and just talk real deep,
Oh yeah, but just talking wrestling with that guy, and just talking match philosophy. I couldn't even imagine.
So, what got you into wrestling? What got you?
I kind of always had a plan. My first match that I ever remember watching, and this probably makes whenever I say this to a.
You know what? Let me ask you this: can you turn your car light on?
Let me see if I can. I'm a little dark, huh? There we go. There we go. Is that better?
Yes. Sorry about that. You were way in the dark.
No worries. So I always wanted to kind of do like I played football my whole life, so I wanted to play football for as long as I could. And I've watched wrestling since for as long as I can remember. My first match that I remember, and every time I've told people this, I'm like, oh, you make me feel so old. My first match that I can remember, my grandpa ordered WrestleMania. I think it was 19. It was Lesnar and Kurt Angle. I remember Lesnar missing the shooting star press like it was yesterday. I'm just being a little kid sitting in front of the TV kind of deal. And then growing up, my biggest influence was Edge. So when I first started watching wrestling, Edge went into for the neck surgery. Just obviously following his career, him being the big role model for me when it came to wrestling. I was always infatuated by him. I don't know what it was. He had the cool gear, he had the cool entrance, the spear, the hair flip, everything. Just the perfect character in my eyes growing up, the the perfect character. And then like, as I got older and like he got, his like gimmick and his style kind of changed like into like this, cocky, arrogant, the rated R superstar, and it kind of helped me get my, it helped build my confidence and help build me into like the character that I am today,
Yeah.
And like I said, Edge was a huge role model for me growing up. So I wouldn't be wrestling right now if it weren't for him. He's pretty much the reason why I even started training. I had started training for a little bit, and I was like, you know what, it wasn't really working with my work schedule and my time, which wasn't working out.
No.
The day he came back, I'll never forget it because Kobe died that same day. So I'm sitting there, I'm all bummed out because I found out Kobe died. I'm watching the Rumble. He comes back, and then in the back of my head, I'm like, okay, if he can come back from this, why aren't I doing it? And if it makes me feel this way, I'm getting goosebumps, I'm getting emotional, because it's like this is like one of my idols. Why am I not doing this? And then,
right.
And a year late, a little over a year later, here we are. It's surreal because I never thought, in my wildest dreams that things would pick up as much as they have. Like it literally feels like yesterday I walked into the training for the first time. You know what I mean? I walked into the doors and I got in the ring, and then here I am. Just traveling, working guys that are so talented. They're just. I never thought in a million years I'd ever, working with guys from like 3D Academy, working with guys who have trained with some of the best in the industry. The way it all just came together, you never expect it to, until it happens. So
you're right.
Yeah.
You're right. Who else inspired you as well? Besides, I'm sure there's other guys as well.
Yeah. Another big influence on me and like my gimmick is I'm the backbreaking artist. So Roderick Strong was a big influence on me.
So good old Rod. Yeah.
And I get like you're a Roderick Strong mark. I get that like all the time, but it's like, I'm an artist, man. Artists need inspiration, and the Messiah, the backbreaker was just my inspiration when I was coming up in training, man. Because, the backbreaker has been around forever. It's one of the oldest moves in professional wrestling. And the way he was able to, manipulate different moves and make it, just make it unique and make it a different style and a different setup, and I loved it. So I'm kind of bringing my own twist to it, and becoming the back-breaking artist that, I am. So
you want to, because you got something that you want to show people. And
of course, it's an art. Wrestling is an art, man.
It is. It's an art, and it's it's a passion. Of
course, absolutely.
You think back to wrestling. As a kid. Yeah. What was your first time going to a show? What was you're going to a show with your friends or family?
Exactly. So I'm like I said, I'm a younger guy. So Night of Champions, in 2011 here in Chicago was my first show. That was the first time that I had that I went anywhere. I think the main event was like a scramble with like Randy Orton, Sheamus, Edge, John Cena, all these, Wade Barrett when the Nexus was still going. I'm like I said, I didn't go until I was older. I was always watching on TV, and it was always a little little expensive for my family growing up. So once I was able to kind of make some money for myself and, get my boys together and go, that's when as soon as we did. So it was cool.
Yeah. And you're like, wow, all right, I think I could do this. I'm going to.
No, and like I said, it was always like I get, we obviously, as kids, you always practice with your friends and you do all the moves and everything, and you have a good time, and then it's like, you dream of doing it, and then, you're like, I'm going to commit, I'm going to do this, and then, and it just happens. It's like lightning. It just strikes and everything just starts happening. It's kind of, it's kind of wild.
Yeah. Yeah. And the first time you take that first bump, in the ring with the training, it's like, okay, can I really, am I going to be able to take the bump?
Yeah,
am I going to be able to hit these ropes the right way that the teacher taught me?
That process felt like seamless for me. It felt really, it was just like, okay, it's the same as football. I think the lighting would be a little better over here.
That's better. Yeah.
There we go. Cool. Awesome. But no, it was always like, it feels like hits with football for me because I was a linebacker safety hybrid guy. You know, so I was always in the box. I always had, you know, in high school, I was a 100 tackle guy whenever I was, you know, throughout my whole entire time there. In college, before I had a little shoulder problem, you know, I was always, like I said, in the box guy. I was more smaller and stout. Really changed like my body style since then. You know, I've leaned out a lot more than I was back then, but you know, bumping feels the same way. You know, I always liked that contact. So I don't think, you know, it was never like, I was never intimidated because there's always like that fear, you know, when you first see newer guys get in, it's like, you can tell right away if like they mind bumping or if they mind, you know, hitting the ropes. Because me personally, like that hitting the ropes like sucked. Like that, I'd rather bump than hit the ropes, because when you're doing your drill where you're running for 2 minutes or a minute at a time, you know, if your back's not used to it, man, it's gonna feel like someone straight whacked you in the back with a kendo stick for
a couple hours. Yeah, right.
But no, like I said, I think football really did, you know, throughout my whole life has prepared me for the physical toll that professional wrestling takes on the body. So
yeah, and it's not fun after a while.
no, and like that's like the. You know, you always hear like the you know, when you're younger, you start as a face, right? And then as you get older, you work towards the heel. And you know, it totally makes sense to me now, because like, when you're younger, you can bump more. You know, so it totally makes sense.
Right.
So
what was the last time? Let me ask you this: what was your last time holding a title, or any title, or any kind of title?
So like I said, I am very green. I have yet to.
Yeah.
I am still awaiting my first title. So I am very excited. So I was, and it is crazy. I had when I was growing up, I was such a big fan. I had like an infatuation with belts. I used to like collect and like, you know, people like collect shoes and like they'll flip shoes and stuff. I used to do that with belts. There's like such a big, on Facebook, there's such a big like,
following for that. Yeah.
Such a following for professional wrestling belts. It's crazy. And like, they hold their value so much. Like if you ever like, I kind of looked at it as like having gold, like literally, because like if you that value in that belt, it will always stay the same. And if you ever want to sell it, it's like cash just waiting, sitting there for you.
Right.
So I've always been infatuated by championship belts. So at some point I will want to collect like it for my own of my own collection, because I won them, obviously.
Yes.
But no, I think within this next year there are some things in store for Jake Painter, for the backbreaking artist. So I would definitely be on the lookout for a couple titles for me, for sure.
I mean, I'm sure there's open challenges on the East Coast as we speak.
Oh yeah, I've heard. I've heard.
There's titles up for grabs right now, you know, and anybody could take it. I
actually have a great opportunity WrestleMania weekend with Generation Championship Wrestling Best in Class. I will be wrestling JC Vega on the 10 a.m. show, the first show of Generation Championship Wrestling's little.
That's going to be a fully stacked card from top to bottom.
Fully stacked card,
and you see two names at the very bottom of that. The main event.
Yep, Leo Rush and Casey Navarro. Oh my God, those guys are gonna tear it up. But for me personally, that match with JC Vega, if I win that match, I'm in a scramble for the Defender Against Humanity Championship that GCW our Generation Championship Wrestling has to offer. So that could be my first title there. I am, like I said, I am very excited. I want to make my first WrestleMania weekend one to remember. So hopefully, you know, I can get a couple wins bright and early that day, and I can celebrate the rest of the day. And then Sky has a huge match. My girl Sky Blue has a huge match that night at We Run This Town against Kiera Hogan. So it's gonna be a fun day, man. Very nice, long, fun.
There's WrestleMania weekend. Lots of going on there. There's a lot of promotions. I mean, and I'm sure you know the other GCW is there as well. From their thing is, just so much wrestling, so much wrestling
in one area. It's gonna be exciting, man.
Like because they have a spring break. They got their collective. I mean, that's where the top promotions come together and showcase.
It's awesome.
You know,
I seriously, it's gonna be great.
I'll tell you what. WrestleMania, yeah, WrestleMania, yes, but you know, the independent WrestleMania it's where it's at these days.
It's where it's at, man. It's the future of wrestling. The future headliners of WrestleMania make their names at places like Generation Championship Wrestling. We run this town, GCW, the Collective. I know there's other shows that are running down there. I just can't think of the top of my head.
Boot and Heel though. Big shout out to Boot and Heel.
Yeah, Boot and Heel will be on ours at Generation Championship Wrestling. They're New Texas Pro. You have all these great promotions that are gonna be running that weekend. I can't. They have great all the cards are stacked. You're not gonna have one bad card of wrestling. So
I wish I was
and a worker.
Yeah, I wish I was there, but I'm just gonna watch it on IWTV and everywhere.
There you go. Fight TV, IWTV, title match. I know mine will be live on title match. I know that all Generation Championship Wrestling for WrestleMania weekend will be live on title match. So you guys there.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. What's your go-to food for after
show? So, lately I've been having longer weekends, so I've been kind of like, okay, I'll have my protein shake after the Friday show, and I'll have some food that's not going to bloat me after the Saturday show. But this weekend after the Sunday show, I pigged out a little bit. I had in Chicago deep dish. Big. So Lou Malnati's, Giordano's, one of those two would definitely be perfect for me. Another thing that's really big in Chicago, Portillo's, man. And it's always open like right after my shows, or it's like one of the last things that are open. So I mean, thank God for Portillo's. Beef and cheddars, Vienna hot dogs, French fries, shakes, you name it.
I'll tell you what, I've had a hot dog from Chicago. I actually went there for freelance versus my company, one of my companies, GCW. My God.
Oh, man.
Great. I've been to that Lucha Gala. I've been to that mall.
Yep.
Yeah, that down that shopping center.
That's where I was. That's where I was last night. Me and my tag team partner we won our match last night. We two match winning streak. We won both of our matches with Galley this weekend. It was. Like I said, I love working there. You meet a lot of big names. Like I said, Mecha Wolf was there this weekend. We had Sam Adonis there yesterday. Mil Muertes, Judas Macias, he was there as well. Black Taurus, who's really an indie name that's been picking up lately. So like I said, Galley.
And I'm sure Gringo Loco as well.
Oh, Gringo. Oh, Charlie. Oh,
yeah.
Shout
out. Man, he's phenomenal.
And based on that man can. I mean, anything. He is the man, dude. He's awesome.
Yeah.
And they have some really good up and coming luchadors that train out of that brand as well that you're going to be hearing from a lot here coming up. So definitely keep your eye out for Galley Lucha. They are when it comes to lucha style wrestling in the Chicagoland area. That's the one you're going to be looking out for.
I know we don't. You notice that we don't have a lot of good lucha on the East Coast. You know that.
Yeah, it's hard to get a lot of. Texas has good lucha.
Yes.
Illinois, like I said, there are a couple other promotions in here, but like I said, I think Galley is the best. You have some a lot of the West Coast. Arizona. I know Vegas has.
Denver. I think Denver has some.
Denver too has a nice one.
Primos. I think Primos runs some good lucha out of there.
And I think Minnesota. There's one up in. I want to say. I don't know off the top of my head. I know there's a good promotion up in Minnesota. That's not bad. A lot of luchas come from there. But yeah, like I said, Galley is up and coming. Like I said, they've been. I love working there. Carlos Galley is the man. So he always brings in the talent, and he knows how to get an audience even during a time like this where we're so limited. Especially in the Chicagoland area. I know.
Yeah.
So it's like I said, they've been able to run. They've kept it going. I appreciate. I can't, like I said, can't thank them enough for the opportunities that they got. And then also too, while we're at it, because Galley did introduce me to him. Shout out to Wrestling with Unicorns.
Martin's the man. Shout out to him.
He is the man. I love.
Shout out to. He's a great dude. Great.
Yeah, he is a
great go getter. Great go getter.
Dude, he really. Dude, his story, if you listen to like what kind of happened to him, man, and how he came about, like one of those unique wrestling stories, he made a bad a bad thing into a good thing. He used it as motivation. So, and he gives us as independent workers a platform that we wouldn't have without him. I mean, 20,000 followers on Instagram. I've had clips from his be posted on other people's Instagrams that I've like from people like across the country, and like that person wouldn't have saw me hit my move, or my my couple moves all strung together if it wasn't for him being at the show, and recording it. So without him,
he's definitely the man of the camera. Shout out to him.
Yeah.
Shout out to
him and his and everybody that helps him out. Wrestling with Unicorns, seriously, they're awesome.
Mm-hmm. They're always down my neck of the woods too. So for GCD Up,
Oh yeah. Whenever they're around, they try.
Yeah. Have you ever seen any of that stuff? Have you checked that out on IWTV? Have you ever?
So actually, so I try to watch as much as I can.
Yes.
Like I'm like a sponge when it comes to that stuff, because I love like
independent.
I love wrestling. I will watch wrestling like 24 hours a day, 365. It's like the way it used to be for me with breaking down film for football and getting ready for a game. It feels the same way for me. Like if I know I'm working somebody, I will watch every match that I can find of them and before I work them, because I like getting ideas in my head, and I like how I can stop them, and how I can how we can work through a couple different things. I know, like when Fight Forever, I was traveling to a show that was 5 hours away. So being able to watch, continuous live wrestling for 5 hours in the car was awesome.
Yeah, that was an experience for a lot of people. Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I was a part of that too for the midnight.
Oh yeah, it was.
I was a part of that. Jimmy Lloyd Up All Night. Did a whole slot for them.
Yeah, the Terry Funk, the Fight Forever.
God, that was annoying.
Commercial. Gotta love it.
But did you like that? Did you like that 24-hour match though? The 1 hour long match with Tony Deppen and Jordan Oliver.
Yes,
that was.
I did not. So I unfortunately wasn't able to catch it for the full hour, but I did catch highlights. I was able to watch highlights, and I did enjoy it very much. It was. There wasn't much that I didn't enjoy, so I was able to. I liked Billy Stark's match. She worked around.
She is awesome. She's an awesome person.
Yeah, so I was able. I've been talking to her a lot more lately, just because her and Sky have been working each other a lot, with a couple of the promotions that are around here.
Well,
area.
Do me a favor. Let Sky know. Let her.
Of course.
Let her know.
Yeah, of course.
Please.
Yeah, she's so busy. She has so much going on.
I hear you.
Like, she is.
How about after?
After? She is.
We'll do one after.
Yeah, she is taking the wrestling world by storm.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, she is like I said, when it comes to women's wrestling, she really is the next big thing, man. And she is one of the biggest go-getters. And without her, like I said, I wouldn't be anywhere near where I am right now. So a lot of my credit is to her. She's like I said, whenever I have a question or I want to try something, she's always that, the first person that's always willing and there for me.
Well, let her know that I got a podcast tonight, and she's more than welcome to come on.
She loved it. I'm sure she'd love to. Like I said, I'll put the good word in. Because we have a good women's division in Jersey called Goddesses of War. Really.
Oh
yeah. As far I know, when it comes to working people up your way, we're really tight with Queen Aminata. Who's out of Columbus, I believe.
Yes. I know that name.
Yes, and we've ran into Ray Lynn at Generation Championship Wrestling, which I know is, I believe, Philadelphia, I want to say, or Pittsburgh. I don't remember. I know Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of girls that came from Jersey that we may have ran into.
Probably so many. There's so many names out there.
Yeah, I mean, there's everybody. I mean, Gianna Perazo. Yeah, that's probably the biggest one from Jersey that we've. Sky got to work her a couple months ago. That was fun. She was very informative on the process of a lot of things that go down when the transition from independent to getting with those bigger promotions. Yeah, she answered a lot of questions for us. So yeah, for awesome.
Well, let me tell you this: we also have Titan Championship Wrestling, which is a popular, is my local promotion, and then I like to promote the hell out of it. It's a great little indie promotion that we have with Casey Navarro as well.
Is that his home promotion?
There's so many promotions that he belongs to. He belongs to so many promotions, but it's definitely worth checking out. Footage. I'll send you some stuff.
Please send it over. I want to. Like I said,
we have a brand new training school that opened up in Wilmington, Delaware. Yeah, in Delaware, brand new school. So they're doing spotlight matches every Wednesday night before their big show, April 17th. And my God, we're ready. The ignition is ready. That's what it's called, an ignition. So
awesome. Can't wait. Can't wait to check it out. Seriously.
Yeah. But let me ask you this now. What's your music set? What's your current go-to music? What are you listening to?
Man. Funny you say that. So I've been I'm very when it comes to music, for me it's very like it's mood based, and I know it is for a lot of people. Like if I'm trying to get my workout in, it's a lot of like it's harder stuff usually. I kind of like listening, like I caught like just watching so many Roderick Strong matches, like I overheard like Misery Signals so many times, so I kind of got into them a little bit.
Right.
Gojira is a little harder of a band that I got into, which I really enjoyed listening to. And then my buddies actually got me into, there's a band called Dance Gavin Dance that's been around for a little while. So I've been kind of getting into them a little bit. But not like I said, I am more mainstream too. Like I like The Baby. I like Kodak Black. I like Playboy Cardi. Like I like listening to that too. It really just depends on the mood I'm in. Like if I'm having like a good time and like I'm drinking or whatever, like I'll probably put on like Kodak or Playboy or those kind of guys. But if I'm working out, or if I'm doing stuff wrestling related, I'll probably stick to more like I said, like Gojira, Dance Gavin Dance, like bands like that.
Yeah, that's awesome. What do you currently watch as movie wise? What do you watch? What's your go-to movies now, or what are you watching? Like or like Netflix or whatever else catching your eye?
So like, what are like the big shows that I'm watching?
Or cartoon wise? Come on.
So Sky has me watch Scooby Doo as much as we can. She is the biggest like. She actually got gear. She actually just got ring gear made based off Scooby Doo. She is obsessed with Scooby Doo. We watch a lot of we watch a lot of old fashioned Scooby Doo. Like I said, a lot of wrestling. Like I said, I try. It's hard to like pick up a show because like I'm so like when I'm not like working or I'm not in the gym or if I'm not in the ring, if I'm not like shooting the shit with the guys, doing stuff like that. I'm usually watching wrestling. And I usually don't even watch like stuff that's on TV. You know what I mean? I'll watch like the highlights of I'll watch the highlights of Dynamite. I'll watch the highlights of Raw. I'll watch the highlights of SmackDown. I'll catch the highlights of Impact on Facebook. But like I usually don't have time to like watch them live. And like this past Friday, I wanted to watch Edge work on SmackDown.
Yeah, I know everybody. I forgot to watch it.
I literally like I'm going out to like I had SmackDown on my phone and it literally like went on. He was like, "Oh, Edge versus Jey Uso up next," and I was about to go out for my match. So I'm like, "Oh my gosh!"
Yeah, I was watching. What was I watching last night? Actually, before my podcast with my guest, I actually was watching on TikTok. They had the WWE app, WWE live, and I'm watching Matt Riddle in the ring facing that other guy.
Matt Riddle and Mustafa Ali.
I don't know if he won or not, but I don't. I don't know how that match. I'm gonna watch it later. Something to watch tonight. Catch up on that.
Yeah,
even though I don't watch WWE as much as I used to. I just support it for what it is. The stars are up and coming, and
Yep.
That's all I do. Help support the guy.
Support your local.
Yeah. Because there's guys that come out and are getting signed right now. I mean, my God, we have a list of people that are on the NXT roster. Like,
look at the guys who are on Dark every week, AEW Dark every week. The guys that are on, who are they get their matches on NXT. They're signed, or they're getting their tryout matches. You still see them on NXT TV. You still see them on AEW TV. Like that's those are great opportunities for guys that are still working the indies. That we're still going to see at promotions. Like the ones that are going to be in Florida for WrestleMania weekend, or up by you in Jersey, or by and like I said, Galley brings in a lot of those guys, like Vari Morales, a guy who wrestles on Dark frequently, was just at Galley yesterday. It's a great example.
Cool.
Just a great example of just like how I've been able to have the luxury to be around talent that's like that and just learn from them, because my trainer. One of my trainers, I should say, his name is Doug Simmons. He always tells me, he's like, if you're around guys that work like that, have as much conversation as you can, because like sometimes
it's a sponge. Yes, soak it in. Just soak it in.
Sometimes like a 5 to 10 minute conversation will give you like 5 years of experience. You know what I mean? Like it's crazy how much you can learn in just a short conversation. And
that's also when you go to a seminar as well.
Oh yeah, we just did one with. Not too long ago with Ricky Marvin, who I know is involved with NXT Chile. And he's, he was used to be a trainer for Noah out in Japan. So I was able to learn a lot from him, because he did some stuff with Chicago Style Wrestling, which is where I train out of. And then he also did some stuff with Galley Lucha as well when he was in town. So, but yeah,
that's cool.
Like Chris said, and I just missed out. I was super, we had a couple people from my school who happened to be down in Florida for the Dean Malenko seminar that just went down. I was so jealous. Oh, that man
that would have been
days.
Ever get the opportunity to go, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Or Jerry Lynn. Definitely.
Jerry Lynn too, man.
Definitely.
Those
like
guys,
or Bob Evans, and anybody. There's just there's so many guys that are you can learn a lot.
Oh yeah.
But let me get back to like wrestling wise, man. Like what?
Yeah.
Like you're you're still new to the business. Worst heckling experience with a fan?
I'm sorry.
Worst heckling experience. Like somebody booing you or just slapping you
I'm pretty well liked, I would say.
Yeah.
I don't usually have that problem with fans. I usually get a good reception. Sometimes some people make me a little upset in Galley, so I have to be a little mean. And then a lot of the fan base is Hispanic with Galley. So sometimes when I think the biggest thing is like, I wish I knew more Spanish, so that when they're yelling and screaming at me, I know what they're saying. I think that's probably an issue, because like I said, the Galley is like the most crowd, like with everything going on, that's the most crowd that I've worked. You know what I mean? Like it's the most people I've worked in front of. And I think, like I said, the biggest thing about that is just like the language barrier sometimes. But like I said, I think recently, like the last couple shows that we've been doing with them, they've kind of I'm becoming more of a name there. You know what I mean? They're used to seeing me. They know
that's
that
good. That's good.
So I mean, it's getting that issue isn't as bad. So obviously you go out during intermission, you interact with all the fans and everything. So
actually, don't they do something? They always do something live on Facebook. I always see.
Yes, they always run. Our shows are always live on Facebook. If they are if there are some more star power, like this past weekend we had, there is a smaller fee that they'll charge. But for the most part, we are usually live.
Maybe I'll have to fast forward and see one of your matches, right?
Please. There is one up. We were there. The one from yesterday is up right now. So if you want to go check it out,
all right,
please and share.
Yeah,
please share.
Share. Yeah, this will be shared all over the world.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even though you said you're still working on your social media, that's all good though.
Don't worry, all good. All over it. It's under construction at the moment.
There you go.
I want to make sure that like I said, that a big thing right now with what's going on is just getting your name out there in the right way.
This is the way to do it.
Exactly, presenting yourself the right way. So I want to make sure. Like I said, the popularity of the backbreaking artist has been growing lately, especially with the matches I've been doing out of state and just expanding myself. So
that's what you need. That's what it's all about, man.
So
Taking new take territory by territory, state by state, and just have fun, enjoy it. It's a road trip, man. It's a trip. It's a trip, and you learn a lot on the road as well.
Of course.
But let's call it a night. I think we're done.
Yeah, I'm cool. Yeah, I'm good to go.
We'll do another one.
Russell. Seriously,
we'll do it. We'll do this after Mania. How's that?
I'm so down because I may have a title to show off after that. So.
Ooh. All right.
All right. Cool. We'll see you, Russ. Thanks, man.
Yep. Just check him out on Facebook for right now.
We'll do.
Here we are, right here. Bam. No, that's not it.
Oh.
Bam.
There. Check me out.
Have a good night.
Come at me, and like I said, you'll be able to catch up with all of the newer stuff. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, the whole thing will be done soon. I promise. Construction's almost done.
TikTok. Everybody's on TikTok.
Name it. We'll be on all.
I know. That's it.
Awesome.
But have a good night.
You too, Russ. Thank you so much.
I don't have any more guests this week, so that's it.
All right, awesome.
I'll take a week off. How's that?
Yeah, right.
I think.
Get ready for Mania. Get ready for all the interviews towards Mania.
Yeah, and after, and much more.
Much more to come for the rest of time.
Yeah. Oh, who's that? That's my boy, Danny Dub. Oh, shout out to him. Yeah. Your buddy.
All righty, Russell. Take it easy, man. I'll see you.
Yep. Have a good night.
Yep.
All right, fans. You heard her here tonight on the podcast, and I don't know. I'm gonna have to go back and look at some stuff here. Is there some? All right, fans. I want to say thank you to my guests for coming on tonight, and follow him on his social media and check him out at actually WrestleMania weekend, as he's going to be a part of the Generation First Class Wrestling, also Boot and Heel WrestleMania weekend, the experience, and be sure you see him at a show, support him. You never know where he'll pop up. All right, fans, that's it for the Deathmatch Russell podcast for this week. Stay tuned during the week for some more podcasts as well, and more after that, and more after that. But fans, make sure you support your local independent wrestling. Support WWE, AEW. Really support AEW. I cannot say it enough. I should get paid for that. What's coming up? I'll repeat it again. That's right, fans. Titan Championship Wrestling returns to Toms River, New Jersey, April 17th, as they present Ignition, fully stocked card, top to bottom. Nikos Ricos. We got Rick Recon. We have the Wrecking Ball, Ligursky. We've got PJ Savage. We have the female. We have Vicious Vicky. We have Riley Shepard. We have Mimi. We have, the list goes on and on and on of talent that's going to showcase, but the one match of the night that we're all looking forward to. My gosh, Steve Monster Mac, the current Titan Championship Wrestling Champion, will have the belt in his hands as he goes one-on-one against the Dark Horse, Johnny Monroe, Johnny Moran. Excuse me, fans. I'm drawing a blank tonight. Johnny Moran. It's going to be a great night of action. Adrenaline Sports Academy, Toms River, New Jersey. Get your tickets now. Still available at the door. Online. Order them at TitanChampionshipWrestling.com. And that's it, fans. See you ringside soon. Good night, everybody. Find more Deathmatch Russell podcasts on the following social media: deathmatchrussell.com, follow on Twitter at DavidNJ32, and on Facebook, facebook.com/DJDaveNJ32. Find me on Podcast City Network at podcastcity.net, facebook.com/Podcast City Network. Hit the like button and share, and on Twitter at Podcast City Net. You can hear Deathmatch Russell podcast on Stitcher Radio and on iTunes. Hey, wrestling fans, check out bootandheel.com for all your independent wrestlers, apparel, and more. Also, check out Deathmatch Russell podcast as well. www.bootandheel.com.